Your foot will not move. You are standing on a floor of glass, high up above a city, and everything in you has locked solid. Below your feet, through that clear pane, the ground has fallen away, hundreds of feet of open air, the cars down there like little beetles, the people like specks of dust. And you know the glass is thick. You watched a grown man jump up and down on it a moment ago, and it held without so much as a creak. You know, with the clear, bright top of your mind, that you are perfectly, completely safe. And it does not matter. It does not matter even a little. Your knees have gone soft as warm wax. Your palms are wet. Something cold has dropped through the middle of you and grabbed you low in the belly, and your legs simply will not carry you out onto that glass. So you stand there at the edge, arguing with your own body, and your body is winning. Sit with how strange that is. You gave your legs one simple order. Step forward, the floor is solid, I checked, and they refused you. Some older, deeper thing inside you looked down through that glass, decided you were about to die, and quietly overruled everything you know to be true. You were in no danger at all, and you were terrified anyway. I'm Og. I'm your ancestor, give or take a few thousand generations, and I want to sit with you a while by the fire and talk about that cold drop in your belly. Because it is one of the oldest, most honest things you own. That fear is not weakness. It is not you being a coward. It is a message. And it has been traveling toward you for tens of millions of years, hand to hand, body to body, all the way down the long line that ends in you, standing on a sheet of glass, unable to take one more step. Tonight, I'm going to read that message out loud. So let me start where the fear starts, not on your glass floor. Long, long before that. Picture the world your deep ancestors lived in. For an unthinkable stretch of time, tens of millions of years, the creatures you come from lived up in the trees. Small, quick, clever things with grasping hands, moving through the branches, sleeping up in the branches, raising their young up in the branches, because up there was safe from the teeth that waited on the ground. The trees kept you alive. But the trees asked one price, and the price was simple and absolute. Do not fall, because a fall from up in the high branches was death, not a scare. Not a bruise, death, or a broken body that soon came to the same thing out in a world with no one to mend it. There was no second chance at a fall. You did not get to learn from it and do better next time, because there was no next time. And this went on, generation after generation after generation, for longer than your mind can really hold. A fall was one of the great killers of your kind, patient and always waiting, right there under every branch you ever crossed. Now think about what that does over that much time to a living thing. Imagine two of your distant ancestors up in the same tree. The first one comes to a high, thin branch over a long drop and feels nothing at all. No worry, no caution, strolls right out to the end of it, bold as you like. The second one comes to that same branch and feels a cold clutch of fear and slows and grips tighter and tests her weight and picks her way careful and low. Now let the years run. Which one of those two is more likely to slip and fall and die before she ever has young? The bold one, every time. And which one is more likely to live and raise her children and pass on whatever it was that made her careful? The frightened one. Do you feel the trap closing? Over tens of millions of years, the fearless ones fell out of the story. They died young and left no children, and so they left no piece of themselves in anyone who came after. And the careful, frightened ones lived and had young, and those young were born already carrying that same clutch of fear. Nature was not being kind, and it was not being cruel. It was just doing sums quietly over an ocean of time. And the answer it kept coming back to, over and over, was the same. Wire in the fear. Wire it in deep, wire it in early, wire it in under thought, so it fires before the animal even has time to be brave. Every single one of your ancestors, without a single exception, was careful enough at a height to live long enough to pass you down. You are the child of the ones who were afraid. And here is how we know that fear is truly built in, and not just something you picked up along the way from a scare or a scolding or a bad fall as a child. This is the study I want you to remember because it is the spine of everything I'm telling you tonight. In 1960, two scientists, Eleanor Gibson and Richard Walk, ran an experiment that has been famous ever since. They called it the visual cliff. Here is what they built: a big, sturdy table, and across the whole top of it, a sheet of thick, strong glass, so the surface is solid and safe everywhere, edge to edge. Under one half of the glass, right up against it, they put a checkerboard pattern, so that half looks like normal, solid ground. But under the other half, they dropped the checkerboard way down, far below the glass, down near the floor. So that half looks exactly like a cliff, a sudden, sickening drop, even though the glass runs on smooth and solid over the whole thing, and a baby could crawl across the whole table in perfect safety. Then they took babies, human babies just old enough to crawl, and they set them down on the safe, solid-looking half, and they had the baby's own mother stand on the far side of the drop, over the cliff half, smiling and calling and holding out her arms. "Come here, come to me." And the babies would crawl happily across the solid-looking side, right up to the edge, to the place where the floor seemed to fall away into nothing. And there they would stop dead. They would look down through the glass at that drop and look up at their own mother calling them, and you could see the little mind working. They would pat the glass with a hand, feeling it solid right there. And still, most of them would not cross. They would not put themselves out over that apparent drop, not even to reach their own mother, not even with the glass plain and solid under their palm. Something in them refused, and it was not only human babies. Gibson and Walk ran the same cliff for young animals of all kinds, ones that could get up and move about very soon after birth. Chicks, lambs, kids, kittens, and the young animals refused that drop too, backing away from the edge from almost the first day of their lives, far too young to have been taught anything by anyone. Do you see what that means? The fear of the edge shows up almost the moment a creature can move under its own power. It is not waiting to be learned from a fall. It is already there in the wiring from the start, sitting ready before the young thing has ever been high enough to be hurt. Your caution at a height is not a lesson your life taught you. It is a gift your ancestors left you, wrapped up and waiting, the day you were born. Now, knowing where the fear comes from is one thing. But you want to feel it, don't you, that actual moment on the glass floor. The soft knees, the wet palms, the lurch in the gut. What is your body actually doing to you up there, and why? Let me walk you through it, because it is a beautiful, clever machine, even while it is ruining your afternoon, and it comes in two parts. The first part is about how you keep your balance, and it is stranger than you think. You feel like you stand still. You do not. Stand up straight right now, as still as you possibly can, and you are still swaying very slightly all the time, a tiny drift forward and back, side to side that you never notice. Your body is a tall, wobbling thing balanced on two small feet, and it is always making little corrections to keep you upright, dozens of them a second, far below your notice. And how does it know which way it's drifting so it can correct? A big part of the answer is your eyes. Your eyes lock onto the solid things near you, the ground, a wall, a doorframe, the corner of a table, and they watch how those things slide ever so slightly as you sway. If the doorframe drifts a hair to the left, your body knows it has leaned a hair to the right, and it corrects before you feel a thing. Those close, solid, unmoving things around you are what your balance leans on, quietly, every second you are on your feet. They are the anchors that cancel your sway. Now take that away. Walk out to the edge of a high place and look out and down. Suddenly, there is nothing near you for your eyes to grab. The ground that used to be right under you, close and readable, is now 100 feet down, far too far away to read. The walls are gone. The near, solid things your balance was leaning on the whole time have vanished out from under your gaze, and all that's left is distance. And here is the trouble. With nothing close to anchor to, your eyes can no longer tell your body how much it's swaying. So the quiet little correction system starts to fail. Your sway grows. You genuinely do begin to wobble more than usual up there at the edge because the feedback loop that normally holds you steady has lost its grip. And your brain feels that extra sway, that growing wobble, and it does the only thing it knows to do with it. It reads it as falling. It throws the alarm. And the alarm is the soft knees, the lurch, the freeze, the swimming head we call vertigo. Your body isn't broken up there. It's doing its job perfectly. It just lost the very cues it needs, and in the dark, it assumed the worst. And this, by the way, is why the handrail saves you, why the wall at your back is such a comfort. The instant you get one hand on a rail, or press your shoulder to something solid, you have handed your balance system a fresh anchor, something close, something it can read, and the wobble settles and the alarm quiets almost at once. You feel braver by the rail not because you're being brave. You feel braver because you gave the machine back the thing it was missing. So that's the first part, the balance going blind. But it still doesn't explain the deepest, most maddening thing about the fear on that glass floor, which is this. You know you're safe. You checked. You told yourself clearly, calmly, in words, it's fine. The glass holds, and the fear did not care. It did not so much as pause. How can knowing a thing, really knowing it, do nothing at all against the fear of it? For that, you have to understand that the alarm and the knowing do not run on the same road. When your senses catch something that might be danger, that signal splits and takes two different paths through you. One path is long and slow and clever. It runs up to the thinking, reasoning part of your mind, the part that weighs things, and reads the sign that says the glass is rated to hold 10 grown men and works out calmly that you are fine. That's the road your knowing takes, and it is good and careful and thorough, and it is slow. The other path is short and fast and old, and it does not stop to think at all. It runs to a small, ancient alarm deep in the middle of your brain, and that alarm has one job, and it does it faster than thought. See the drop, sound the alarm, dump the fear into the body now. This instant, knees, gut, hands, all of it go. And here is the whole cruel trick of it. The fast road gets there first. The alarm has already fired, already turned your legs to water, already dropped the cold stone through your belly, long before the slow, clever road has even finished reading the safety sign. So by the time the thinking part of you calmly announces, "It's fine, we're safe," the fear is already standing in the room. It got there first, it always gets there first, and it will not be argued out by news that arrives too late. That is why you can stand on that glass, certain to your bones that it will hold, and still be unable to make your foot move. Your knowing and your fear are not even talking to each other. The fear didn't wait to hear you, and me think that is the strangest, most human thing of all. Two parts of one mind, one of them sure you're safe, the other one sure you're dying, both of them right there behind your eyes at the exact same time, and the frightened one holding your legs. Now, I want to be honest with you, the way I always try to be, because the truth has edges and I won't file them off. Not everyone feels this the same. For most of us, that clutch at a height is a mild, sensible thing, a healthy tug that says careful, and it fades once we step back. That is the fear working exactly as it should. But in some people, the very same dial is simply turned up too high, so high that a balcony, a ladder, a photograph of a mountain sets it screaming, and it starts to shrink their life. We have a name for that, and it's real, and it deserves gentleness. But understand what it is. It is not a different, broken thing. It is your same ancient gift, the one that kept every one of your ancestors alive, only cranked far past where it helps, and a few lucky souls barely feel it at all and walk the high steel like it's a garden path. The fear is old and it is common, but it was never handed out in equal measure. So let me bring this all the way home, back to you, up there on the glass, with your soft knees and your certain mind, because this is the part I really want you to carry away. That drop in your stomach is not you failing. It is not you being small or weak or a coward while braver people stroll past you to the edge. Turn it over and look at it properly, and it is the exact opposite. That fear is an inheritance. It is a felt memory, pressed into your body before you were born, of every single ancestor who came to a high, thin branch over a killing drop and felt afraid and was careful and lived. It is 60 million years of near misses and held breath and careful feet, handed down to you as a cold clutch in the gut. Every one of them, all the way back, felt some version of what you are feeling on that glass. And because they felt it, they took care. And because they took care, they lived to have young. The ones who felt nothing, who strolled out bold onto the thin branch, they are not your ancestors. They couldn't be. They fell before they ever had children. Not one of them is in your line. Every person you descend from, without a single break in the chain, was cautious enough at a height to survive it. So that terror on the glass floor is not a flaw in you. It is proof of where you come from. It is the loudest, surest sign that you are the child of the survivors. Your mind knows the glass will hold, but your body is remembering the branch. And your body has been right about that branch for 60 million years, and it is not about to stop trusting itself now, just because you built a tower and put a window in the floor. So here's what I'd love to know, and I mean it. Tell me down in the comments. What is the highest place your body has ever refused to let you enjoy? The glass floor, the tall bridge, the balcony you couldn't step out onto, the ladder that turned your legs to water halfway up. And tell me this too, the part I'm most curious about. Did knowing you were safe help at all? Or did that old alarm just fire straight through everything you knew and hold you where you stood? Tell me. I want to hear which of you the branch still has its hand on. I'm Og. This whole channel is about the body you're sitting in right now, and all the ancient machinery still humming away inside it, long after the world it was built for is gone. Mara, one of mine, once froze on a ledge she could have crossed in a breath, and I understood her, because the same old fear lives in me and in you. So stay with me and come find the next one. Because no matter how tall and modern and far from the trees you feel, the truth is the same as it ever was. Your body still remembers.